Hello students, welcome to week 9 HTML and CSS part 4. Here are your learning objectives. You'll be able to list HTML tags for multimedia content. You'll be able to describe differences between browser displays of multimedia, use iframes, and we'll work on the example website that we've been working on all semester. Let's get started. Okay, let's talk about multimedia on the web. Let's start with audio. So to make audio on the web, it's very simple. With HTML5, you use the audio HTML tag. This is what a typical tag will look like. You have opening audio tag here, src, and then some attributes here, and then a closing audio tag. So let's break that down. src equals something in quotes here, a file path and a file name, or similar to a image. Here it's a audio file. And then what's called an attribute. So these are extra options. Here is controls, which show the browser's built-in features like the play button and elapsed time and volume. Like so. They'll look different in every browser, so just keep that in mind. Other attributes include autoplay, which does what it says. Don't use it, it's annoying. Let your user control whether audio plays or not. You can also specify it to loop. And you can also specify for it to be muted. As long as you include that attribute in the tag, then the track will be muted. That's a good one to include. Preload. So ordinarily, an audio file will only start to download once you click play. But if you include the preload attribute, then it gets preloaded and it'll be ready for when you click play as the page loads. Volume is another attribute you can use, anywhere from 0 to 1. You can set a predetermined level for your user. 0 is silent, 1 is loud, the loudest. Other options on the web include SoundCloud and Spotify and things like that. So in order to embed this into your web page, click the share button down here. This is a playlist in SoundCloud. You want to include this whole thing, click the share. And then once you get to the next screen, you will click embed. And then you have some options here like a large album cover or small album cover, color, the height of the embed here, and then you want to copy this code here. And then when you paste this into your code and show it in the browser, this is what shows up. You'll also have the option to enable autoplay, so don't do it. And then that code is the iframe. This is how embedding works. This is a very simple example. Iframe opening tag src. You want to include some fallback text for browsers that don't support iframes. And then that's it. An iframe is just a way to include a web page inside of another web page. It's a way to embed audio and video, which we'll talk about in a minute. But here is the iframe that includes that SoundCloud track. So let's try that. Okay, so let's go back to our example website. You remember this from last time. Let's add a audio file here somewhere. So we'll go to Atom. And then I like to open the entire folder so that I can see all the folder and files there. So go back to downloads, click on the folder itself, and then you'll see all the other stuff here. And when I click open, they're all showing up here now, so I can see them all at once. And so what I want to do is add one of these WAV file that's in the media folder in here. So let's pick a spot, maybe here underneath block quote. We'll type out our audio tag. So audio. Then we need an src, our source. And so since our index file is here on the same level as this media folder, I just need to type the media folder name and then pick one of these WAV files to play. Let's pick coin and then wave. And then remember, we want to use controls. So controls is here. And then we want to close the tag here. And then our closing tag, oops, here. So if we save this and then go back to our page, refresh our page, now we should have a audio file here ready to play. And that's how you add audio to your web page. Let's try adding a SoundCloud file to this. So let's go to SoundCloud. So let's just pick anything from random here. Sure, let's do this one. So let's click to get to the actual track, and then we want to click on share, and then embed, and then we want, let's go with this large album cover. Color is fine, height is fine, so let's click here and copy the code and then go back to Atom. We can paste this in right here where we had done the first one. So that's the entire iframe here, and if you want to see this all in one screen, go to View, toggle Soft Wrap, and then that'll squeeze it all in for you so you don't have to scroll horizontally. So again, use toggle Soft Wrap to get that to fit all in one screen here. So we save this and then come back to our browser, take a look, and we should have a SoundCloud embedded track here. So if you refresh, there it is. You can play it. You have all the stuff here, and you can even share it again. So that's how you add a SoundCloud embed to this. Now video works virtually the same as audio. A few considerations to think about before you dive into using video on your web page. Depending on your content, you may not want to use a YouTube or Vimeo embed. Maybe you work for a competitor to YouTube or Vimeo, then you may want to have the content right in your web page, not as part of a YouTube embed. Browsers vary in the support they have for media formats. So most video on the web is an MP4, but for some reason you may not want to use an MP4. Different browsers support them differently. So you can use an alternative format like OGG Vorbis or WebM, which is a different type of file name for your video. These are open source. So if you happen to need to use a WebM, for example, you can use Miro to convert your MP4s to WebM. So using video on the web, use the HTML tag as you might have guessed. This is what it looks like. It works virtually the same as audio. You have your opening tag here, src with a file name and file path, and then some attributes, and then a closing tag. So SRC works the same as audio. You know, the SRC equals and then double quotes some path and then the actual file. The attributes are largely the same in video as they are in audio. Controls does the same thing in video as in audio. You want to make sure you have that in there so you give your users the ability to click play, click stop, control the volume, and all things like that. Still shouldn't use autoplay. You can use loop if you need to. This is sometimes used for short video clips on your website that maybe are backgrounds to something. You want to use include loop so that it plays constantly. Muted is a good option to use as part of your video tag. If you watch video on your phone, most of the time it's muted to start out with, and that's good practice. So you should do that for your users. Preload works the same. Using this depends on your content, whether you want your video to be ready to go once you press play. Otherwise, if you don't have preload, then once the person clicks the play button, then it'll download the file from the web. Poster is a new attribute that doesn't exist in audio. But poster defines an image to display until the video is played. So like a thumbnail. If no poster is provided, then the first frame of the video will be used. So this is a chance to use a little custom thumbnail kind of thing. So it works the same as SRC. Poster equals folder and then your file name. If it's not in a folder, just a file name. So make sure you write it correctly depending on where you put it. You can also specify the height and width of your video. It's commonly used in YouTube embeds. Let's talk about embedding. So in YouTube, it works the same. Click the share button to get the information that you need. Once you click on share, then click on the embed icon, and then you'll get this iframe code here. You can see this example at least includes width and height, SRC, and then some other stuff. So copy all of this and then paste it into your HTML. Vimeo works the same, similar process to embedding. So let's try it. Let's add a YouTube video to our web page. So let's go to YouTube. I picked out this one. Go down to share, click share, click embed, and then they give you a nice button here to copy this code that you need here. So copy here. Go back to Atom. Let's drop it in underneath our SoundCloud embed that we did already. So it's there. Click save. And then go back to our browser, back to our page here, refresh, and it should show up underneath, and here it does. Just to see, it'll play. I'm actually having a problem playing it right here. So you can test this on a different browser. So I'll go to Safari. And here it loads in Safari. So I'll press play here, see if it works. And it works, so that's good. And while we're in a different browser, notice that our old coin.wave up here looks different in Safari as it does in Chrome. So here's in Chrome, and here it is in Safari. They look very different. So there you go.